Good morning, everybody, my dear students. This is Prakash, lecturer in chemistry, JPT Nirmal. Today we have to discuss about the environmental studies 2 for the first year and second semester students. This fresh morning means nothing but environment, fresh environment. So, what is the term environment? Was derived from the French word environner, which means encircle or surround. So, environment is the surrounding of the living organisms. Environment. What do you mean? Environment is the nothing but surroundings of the living organisms. Our environment is a complex and dynamic system in which all forms of the life interdependent and interconnected. Interdependent and interconnected. So, they should be remember once again our environment is a complex and dynamic system in which all forms of the life in interdependent and interconnected. All forms of the life interdependent and interconnected. This is a very important and wonderful point. Should we remember that? So, environment consists of both living things like plants and animals and non-living things like air, water, food, land, buildings, oceans, rivers, the sunlight, temperature, etc. In other words, environment consists of both biotic and abiotic components. So, before that we have to take in the two words living and non-living things. Here same as usually we have to using biotic and abiotic or non-biotic means living and non-living components. So biotic means living components and abiotic means non-living components. So environmental studies is a systematic and scientific study about environment, changes in the environment and interactions of organisms with surroundings. Once again, environmental studies is a systematic and scientific study about environment, changes in the environment and interactions of the organisms with surroundings. How can that organisms interacted with the surroundings? That is a very important in the environment. So the study emphasizes the role of a individual to act in the maintenance and safeguard of the environment. The environmental studies is a combination of different branches like physics, chemistry, biology, geology, engineering, economics, etc. What do you mean? The environmental studies is a combination of different branches. The combination of the all branches which is deals with the our environmental studies, that is the physics, either chemistry, biology, geology, engineering, economics, etc. etc. Okay, so that is the environmental studies. We have studies basic concept of the environmental chemistry in first semester. In continuously Now we have now we will study specifically about air pollution and water pollution, etc. in this session and in our second semester chapter. So, air pollution. What do you mean air pollution? How can it is going to be spoil the air? What is the air? The first of all, we know the chemistry. Air is nothing but the mixture of all gases at the molecular state. What do you mean that air? The mixture of all gases at molecular state. Molecular state. So, the presence of unwanted unwanted material in the air present in such a quantity which affects the organisms directly or indirectly is called the air pollution. So that much gases but not affected the human beings. Human beings will be are nothing but all organisms and living things taking the oxygen and release the carbon dioxide. Some more of the taking the carbon dioxide. As like that, the sustainability is there in the environment. But that gas will be that air will be affected is nothing but unwanted whatever they are present in the environment gases that does not affect the any living things, but excess amount of or unwanted materials are whenever that released into the air, then that air will be polluted. So that is the definition will be we have to take in as a the presence of unwanted materials or that unwanted means foreign material or which is affected the living things materials in the air present in such a quantity. How much quantity? Threshold limit not quantity. Threshold limit means nothing but bearable quantity. But here more than threshold limit quantity means which affects the organisms directly and or indirectly is called the air pollution. So the air pollution is the defined as the presence of excessive unwanted foreign substances in the air which adversely affect the quality of the air and causing the damage to humans, animals and plants. That is called as air pollution. So, look here, what is the composition of air? The composition of the air is major components of the oxygen, nitrogen, and water vapor. These three are the major components. Minor components are the carbon dioxide, argon. Now, trace components are the helium, neon, krypton, xenon, whatever their zero gas elements, noble gases, and hydrogen, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, ozone, hydrogen sulfide, etc. are the trace components. But here, whatever there here on the earth, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and argon are the very very important components. Without that, there is no life living on the surface of the earth. So, whenever that unwanted and affect that air pollution and polluted that gases, then living things also affected, and then that is called as air pollution. So, listen here once again. Environment is a good word. That word derived from the French word environner, 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 which means encircle, encircle or surround. So, environment is the surrounding of the living organisms. Our environment is a complex and dynamic system in which all forms of the life interdependent and interconnected. Suppose we have to living, a human beings depend on everything on surface of the earth, non-living things also. We are depend on the sunlight, we are depend on the temperature, we are depend on the pressure, we are depend on the everything on the surface of the earth. So like that, our life interdependent and interconnected with the everything. Without environment, without surroundings, we can't able to living on the earth. So environment consists of both living and non-living things, and here not only living things, non-living things also very very important, like the plants and animals, and non-living things like the air, water, food, land, buildings, oceans, rivers, and sunlight, temperature, everything also very important. And whatever there, how much quantities are present in the environment, that much quantities is very important on the earth. In other words, environment consists of both biotic and non-biotic components or abiotic components. Here biotic means living components and abiotic means non-living components. Environmental studies is a systematic and scientific study about the environment, changes in the environment, and interaction of the organisms with the surroundings. So, here systematically and scientifically studied about the environment, changes in the environment, and interaction of the organisms with surroundings. How is the interaction of the surroundings? In the further studies, we have to do the project works on the environment and project work on the ocean, project work on the, suppose you can take ecosystems, marine ecosystem, ocean ecosystem, rivers ecosystem, pond ecosystem, like that all ecosystems we will be studied and do the project works at the mm, position, and the forest, the whatever they, you can take one of the system and studied it and do the project work, and like that, that is the surroundings. And the study emphasizes the role of an individual to act in the maintenance and safeguard of the environment. The study emphasizes the role of an individual to act in the maintenance and safeguard of the environment. Everybody should take the responsibility to safeguard of the environment. And environmental studies is a combination of different branches. So that environment is nothing but to whatever they, it may be surroundings, and it is a study is not only related to me, like that don't be understand, every branch will be, it's a very very important. So wherever that studied physics, chemistry, and biology, geology, engineering, economics, etc., everybody should remember, and everybody should be want the environmental studies and importance of the environmental studies, and the relation, the interaction of the environmental studies is very important. And we have the studied basic concepts of the environmental chemistry in first semester for the first year diploma students, and in continuation of this chapter, and in the second semester, now we will study specifically about air pollution and water pollution. Here air and water both are the very important to the living things. That's why in this chapter we have to take the very important to study about the air pollution and water pollution. Now air pollution, what is the air? What is the air? Before that we know the the mixture of all gases at their molecular level. Molecular level means nothing but you can take oxygen, O2 is a molecular level. Hydrogen, hydrogen taken as a H2, molecular level. Nitrogen taken as a N2, molecular level. Like that, all gases are present in the molecular level in our surroundings. That is the mixture of all gases is called the air pollution. And the presence of unwanted materials in the air present in the such a quantity which affects the organisms directly and indirectly is called the air pollution. What do you mean the air pollution? Air pollution is the defined as the presence of excessive unwanted foreign substances in the air which adversely affect the quality of the air. Okay, which we have to take in unwanted foreign or substances that substances spoil the quality of air and causing damage to humans beings, animals and plants. That is called as air pollution. So composition of air, which we have to take in, which we have to say that before that, the composition of air is major components are oxygen, nitrogen, water vapors. These are very very important and these are the major components in the air. Minor components are oxygen and argon, carbon dioxide, and trace components are helium, neon, krypton, xenon, noble gases, whatever there, hydrogen, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, ozone, H2S, etc. And trace elements also carbon monoxide, as like that. But whenever that interacted each other these gases and otherwise we are when we are going to be combustion takes place then automatically the fuels will be combustion then automatically these gases are affected by the other than chemicals then that air the mixture of air is spoiled, the quality of air will be spoiled. So then we have to called as that air will be polluted, which is called the air pollution. Air pollution. So in this session, we learned that how much importance of the environmental studies. Why should we have to want the environmental studies and for every branch should be learnt about the environmental studies. Environmental studies is a one of the part of in every branch of studies. So environmental studies is a systematically and scientific studies about the environment and it's consists of suppose different branches like physics, chemistry, biology, geology, engineering, economics, etc. And so environmental studies is much more important and that air pollution how can we are nowadays it's very very important to the plantation to get the fresh air means nothing but fresh oxygen to living the organisms they should be want the fresh oxygen to fresh oxygen we have to want the afforestation so should be we have to want forestation is very important so everybody should be planting the plantations then we have to get the good air that's why we should be preventing the and we should be maintain the properly everything and we does not spoil the air quality. So next session whatever the how can it is spoil the air in what type of activities we are doing in the human beings and by what type of activities air will be going to be pollution means nothing but causes of the air, effects of the air pollution, and how can we have to preventing the these causes, how can we have maintain the preventing the air pollution, control the air pollution should be studied in the next session. So thank you everybody, thank you one and all.